That main road is where from where I turn off into this road, and right side is filled with that Vedalia. That is Spagneticola. I did one quite a long video on this Spagneticolas, how it has taken over these kind of rich, moist locations, and it has eliminated the biodiversity here, foundation layer of biodiversity. Today I thought we'll look at the other side of the road. So that side is all cleared up. This side has some growth, and the left side, the pavement also, there's no greenery, and there's only 2 species on the footpath. Here in the richest part, where the water from that upstream comes and turns in, on the first level, some exotic this is that Gravia nervosa. One plant has come, and then this Hypomia triloba or something it's called. So pretty little native creeper. And then so the richest part is occupied by this so-called Congress grass. This one, which kills everything underneath. Anyway, when you come a little down, 1 or 2 of the Sclerodendron infortunatum is there. This is a native one, good plant. Then a little bit down, if you come, this Vedalia hasn't invaded this part yet. And here there is quite a nice mix of kind of succulent plants. Now, when the soil is good, the kind of things that grow on it will be different from locations where the soil is poor. For example, this is a place where the rainwater and all washes down there, and it's a kind of a valley bottom, top valley bottom situation. From here downwards it goes further the valley. And here, let's count the species. This is one local succulent grass that cows and all like. Cows like means even all herbivores will eat it. In a forest situation, bison and deer and all, in this small town edges, cows. Then this is one Amrutaballi is trying to also find some sunlight. This is that Cassia tora. It's a good plant. Then this touch me not. That is Mimosa pudica. So already we went through on this succulent grass. Then this Amrutaballi, that heavy rainfall area version, little variation in that Tinospora cordifolia. Then this tora, Cassia tora. Then this Mimosa pudica, and then this is also one more common plant that is it is edible for humans also, and cows also like it, even hens like. When in my chicken coop and all, they love to eat this. So it's a sweet succulent herb. This is a good alternative instead of that Vedalia. If it is that Spagneticola is not there, this one will come nicely and occupy such places. So this will provide a habitat for ants and other insects underneath. Here there is a Desmodium trifolia also is there. So I think that's the 5th species what we could find here. Then if we search another half a dozen may be there. So this kind of lush, this is also there. It has the same grass. So what is this? This is one of the Phyllanthus, so 6, 7 species. So these, and then this Ipomia, this one is there, and then there is one type of Bala, that's the cordifolia group of plants, one of them. So this is a very nice biodiverse open area, which is good for about a dozen type of insects, butterflies, then little bees, ants, spiders, and they support the birds and all up the feeding chain. So if the soil is rich and there is no invasive weed around there, then chances of that supporting level of the biodiversity what these kind of places can do is immensely enhanced. And like this little one, I don't know what is the name. So this is probably come here to lay eggs or find some fruit, or I mean food. So this can only happen if these kind of native plants are there. Otherwise, there is nothing there to attract them or feed them. So they'll leave the area or they'll die off. That's all. This is one more herb. This name I have not yet got it correctly. It's a sweet scented kind of a tulsi, I think. So all this can be there in a good topsoil, and the sweet sapped succulent type of plants will occupy the space. When the soil is very poor, these kind of juicy, nice, succulent plants don't come up. And these plants support hell of a lot of little insects, and which make up the part of the food chain. So those higher up in the food chain, like little birds, and then this predatory type of insects, and all can live off and get lot of food from this, and also cows, herbivores, and all. And underneath these kind of places, there tends to be other things for like small rodents, snails, slugs, and they're so sensitive. He could make out that something is happening and decided to hide. So all this can happen if there is no exotic weed that has taken over the place, and the soil is nice. And as we go down, the diversity somewhat reduces, and then there is one more something interesting here. So all this can exist if there is a varied group of weeds growing, good nice weeds. Then on the left side of the road, this wall is Very interesting. We'll have a little look at it now. First, there is a ditch down there. And then it is having a bunch of things growing. Like this must be one of the Dioscorea group. That also. And then this one is there. That spike moss. That is spike moss is Selaginella, and this one also. I've done a video on this just a couple of days back. It's nicely growing out of this small crevice there. Quite a few of them. Then this fern is there. This is also very hardy one. In the oddest of locations it's there. Then on the side there is Macaranga peltata. It's a good thing. If you see this tree, this leaf, you can be happy that something is there. Then here the slope increases quite a bit. On that side there are some very interesting rock formations that I have to cover separately. There's a series of them, and there the trees have been left because I think it's one more sacred spot. Over there, these granite rock formations are there. And, as we go down, these weeds also become more sparse because there's not much nutrition in this slopey place. And here even some rocks are exposed, so nothing is growing. And then after one level of slope is we come down on the roadside, once again it becomes as a little level, and soil becomes a bit better, and a lot of these are there. It's a nice plant, Ixora, that is some sacred Ixora. It's a speciality of this region. Very pretty plants. And they also have these edible berries that we also can eat, and birds also like red edible berries. These buds always catch my attention. That contrast of red and green and that kind of a sparkling shape. Here these roadside trees get a little more interesting. Some acacias are there, but in between that ficus caryophytum, that's a good tree. Lots of fruits and flowers. I knew, and I saw it seems bats are eating those little flowers. Here it gets a bit, now slowly the native plants are all making their appearance. Only on the right side. On the left side, ecological desert. Just acacias. In this section I had seen some of that Tylophora. But then I couldn't locate the fruits. I saw the flowers here. Now I'm searching for the fruits, not to be seen. This is those Syzygium. Towards the end of the monsoon, this will all ripen and one round of food is created for birds. I think this must be one of the Tylophora probably. Here there's a very nice fishtail palm. I think I showed it in a video other day. And then these also make their appearance. And look at it in close up, it's very pretty. Purple with some kind of orchid type of shape. Oh, there's an ant nest. Angry ants. Bad place to sit. And here there's a little nook where there is dense shade, and those extremely shade tolerant plants are coming up there. That part. I think some Chessalia, that Chessalia curviflora. And then some butterflies and Xylenicum, Smilax Xylenicum, 2-3 varieties of them. This section is one of my favorite, with all those clerodendrons arranged beautifully in formation, and then flowering and aromatic and all. This is the Solana amplexicolis. You can see how tall it has climbed. Even though it looks weak and all, in a good location, you actually see how it has grown along on this branch of this peltata. So here one section ends, and on the left is a very diverse strand of vegetation, probably about 150-200 meters wide, and then there's a stream also goes there. This right part of the hill has been recently cleared, so it will offer a real contrast. when there's no vegetation, this water like gushes and creates these canyons. So much of mud has washed out, and there is no rock, so it's going to continue until this one will be destabilized. This clearing is quite recent, so nothing has yet occupied that space. Slowly, some grasses and other things will emerge. But even here, the complete topsoil has been removed, and it has been leveled made into a terrace. One road going up, and on this terrace, just nothing is there. So when you take a very diverse, biodiverse area like that, clear cut it and remove the topsoil, this is what you get. Now if someone wants to do a gardening here once again, they'll have to rebuild the topsoil. So it's quite a task. A lot of carbon has to be trapped, and this is like a brick. Nothing has managed to emerge. Then some one or two hardy grasses, even they don't look happy. So, and then acacias of course are started popping up. They can establish themselves. So complete collapse of the biodiversity. Here I can hardly count about 5 species. Some acacia. This cleared area, this one comes from roots also. This sacred Ixora. So probably some remnant root would have been there when they did that bulldozing, and it has come out. Otherwise, so this one quite a tough survivor. Flowering also here. And then acacias everywhere. There lots of them have grown. Then this one grass. Grass is a big subject. I can't talk about it. But they are there for every niche. And this one looks particularly unsucculent and unpalatable. Probably it's a kind of grass that no herbivore will eat. Some useless means for this situation it's good. It has to start the tedious process of re-greening the whole place. But once this grass settles down, then it slows down the flow of water, and some silt will start settling and it's accumulating in its bottom around it. And that little silt and protection is enough to allow some softer little grasses to start emerging. One legume also has come. One more here. So it forms little clumps like this, and then 1 or 2 seeds of some tree also may fall, and then it will become one small circular clump. That's how the regreening process starts. Even in very precarious positions, this one is managed to survive, flower, even couple of fruits I can see there. Good plant. So, a mighty fall of biodiversity in a very biodiversity rich area. This will have a cascading effect because the water retention here and all will become poor. Nothing will soak in. That will slowly deplete the groundwater, which they are sucking up with the borewells anyway. Then there's nothing for insects and birds to eat there. Desert zone. So it doesn't support anything. Absolute waste. So that's another loss. So with that you leave, this would have supported some 10 or 20 birds, some few hundred insects, few thousand insects, ants, ants, all kind of creatures, and some little. Even if there are if it is uncultivated, I mean wild, where biodiversity is richer, there will be wild fruit trees and all which can support civet cats and many varieties of snakes. Now nothing can live there. This is something I not yet identified. I have to wait for it to flower. So the temptation to clear all vegetation whenever people buy a new property, it has become like unquestionable wisdom nowadays, which is actually the wrong thing to do. You buy a piece of property anywhere, first you find out what all trees are growing there, trees and plants, and which are worth saving. You mark them. Then you start your cutting the least useful trees, so-called useless trees. And definitely some nice things will be there, which will be worth leaving alone. Like in this region there are cinnamon trees and many hardwoods. Quite a few things are there.